like buffering or something. I'm not really sure what was happening.
I'm excited.
It's a server handshake.
Oh, I better
Maybe
turn the
that's what's
volume
going
down
on.
this.
Thank you. Friar, how did you say I make you a moderator? I don't remember what you said.
You click on me. I'm in the chat already. I said a word and you click on me and it'll give you the thing with the stuff.
Like or something. I'm not. Oh, now
There
I
we
hear
go.
an echo. Stand
We're
by.
live.
Yeah, I don't want that. Okay, stand by. Are you guys still here? Did I close you out?
We're here.
Still here. It's not
Okay.
buffering on my end.
Okay, so
Oh, I just got a notification that we're live.
yay, so excited. Yeah, okay. So it'll be easier for me next time, you guys. I'm sorry about that. Let me, okay, so I
Take your
see
time.
Friar, where put user in timeout. No. Oh,
No.
add as a moderator or moderator.
I know.
That's fine. Do, you know, timeout's fine.
Okay, so now you're a moderator.
Blue wrench.
Can you feel the surge of power?
I do. Unlimited power.
Okay. I don't know that I'm coordinated enough to keep an eye on the chat and everything and
I will
manage
keep an
the
eye on the
meeting.
chat.
Okay. Now I don't expect anyone to actually watch it live, just so you guys know. So if somebody does jump on or something, if they have questions or something, like feel free to pop in and let us all know. So excited. Hold on, you guys. Let me just get this out of the way. So who we have here? We have Nikki. Diane's not here. Let me check my email real quick. I thought she was gonna jump on. Maybe she's not. So what's today? Oh, she is here?
The screen is on.
Who's this? Share the live stream link. Yes. Hold on, stand by. I will do that immediately. Okay, so while that's share. Yes. Yeah, probably should have did a test run, you guys. I'll share it in the do you want it shared in, I'm assuming, the meeting chat? Yes?
Yeah.
We want
yes.
Share, okay.
Share all the things.
Okay, I think I did. I think it's in there. Okay, so tomorrow, at least my time, I don't know the exact time. Tomorrow is the new moon. Tomorrow the new moon is in Taurus. Do you guys want me to pull it up? Do we want to like look at the sky real quick?
Yeah, let's look
at
it.
Okay. Hopefully it won't crash my computer, but I have a couple of people on here that should be able to handle things if that does happen, if I have to disappear for a few minutes. So that's exciting. The new moon is for sure in Taurus though. I don't know if you guys did. I don't know who I told. Maybe I didn't tell anyone. I made a tutorial for here. Let me share my screen real quick. I'm gonna share the screen. Share. So in the ancient astrology course that I think most of you guys, I don't think Ray was there, Chrissy wasn't there, but some of you guys were there. Diane and a few others had requested a Stellarium tutorial. I did record it. I am still editing it, and I haven't done any type of editing on that type of video in a while, and I realized again how much I just absolutely hate editing. So it's going to be a while before I get it done. But in that process, I had to go in and read down Stellarium, and I was so excited because the graphics definitely look better. And if we go to my moon over here, stand by. Where is my moon? Come back, moon. What's the day we have on here? Hold on, I better check this. Oh, stand by. You guys can talk while I'm fidgeting.
Oh, look.
We're live.
Look at all those cartoons.
Yeah, they look pretty good. There's some really cool ones in here that I didn't see before. They changed the name. So Pat, when we were doing the course, you had talked about, you would call them sky cultures. They actually changed the name. They just used to be like zodiacs or whatever they call them before. Okay. But yeah, they have some cool ones in there, and they move some stuff around. It took me a minute to figure it out, which was why the editing is going the way that it is. Well, you can kind of see it right now. So you can actually see my moon. Before you could only see this little fuzzy blur, and now you can actually see it, and I'm just so excited.
Oh, you can zoom over.
Yes. Like it's amazing.
Look at all the moons. You can watch the sun, and actually the rotation of the sunspots that we're looking at right now, it's in real time. The data is real time. You can watch suns go across.
Yeah, so the update is definitely worth it.
Yeah. I spent probably 40 hours in this thing in the last. weeks. I've got two buddies that are deep in this. They're actually going deeper than me because I got other things I'm doing. But yeah, like it's gotten insane what we figured out. I want to show you guys a comet. I want to show you the comet that's coming at some point.
Yeah,
The comet.
definitely.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's what we were looking at. We were looking at something really random, and then I started just progressing forward because there's big things you can see when you jump days, weeks, months, years at a time. And I started doing that, and all of a sudden this wild thing came out of nowhere. I mean, you're on the other side of this, but it like comes from underneath the underworld, pops up. There's a conjugation that happens right around October 8th, 9th, 10th. It just kind of depends how you view it. But this thing literally takes a peek at it, sits on top of it, slides to the other side of it, and then pops away. And this thing hasn't been here in 82,660 years or something like that. So, yeah. And it gets right in between the sun. Like it's 1/2 distance between the sun to the earth is how close this thing comes through. Like it's wild.
What is it?
It's called Atlas, 2023 Atlas. It was just discovered about 15, 16 months ago. And they've already got it loaded in Stellarium. That's why I was just like, what is this that I'm looking at? And then we did all the back research and they just announced it back in February, I think it was, of this year, but they've been sitting on it a year or something like that because they weren't sure of the math. So yeah, it's already loaded in there, but it genuinely looks to me like the whole Quetzalcoatl, like kind of mythos. You just look at it and it's just like, wow, this is just, there's something big to it. There's massive energies coming from this thing. Massive.
Isn't there
have to
a
check it
new
out.
zodiac sign that was found?
Say that again, Rhea.
Isn't there a new zodiac sign that was found some time ago? Like the
Possibly.
13th century.
You talking about, well, I know Oophiuchus was announced like 12 or 13 years ago, like publicly.
It's been around for a while. They just they go in and out as far as what anybody's using at any given time. Which I definitely talk about in detail in the course. By the way, all the links to all of our participants, everybody who's here today, well, not everybody, but for the most part, I think they all sent me some bios. If you guys are interested, anybody watching this is interested in contacting them or learning more about them, do not hesitate to reach out if their information's down there. If it's not and you still want to get a hold of them, contact me and I'll try to make that happen for you. Because everybody here wants to connect with you. Something that I know we haven't started on the actual moon and Taurus thing yet, but one of the things that I think is really important, I met all of you guys, well, with the exception of Chrissy, who is my mom. I met all of you on the internet. And I met my husband on the internet. Who else did I meet on that? I've met many people on the internet, because I've had, a virtual career for a very long time. It's here for a reason. Like everybody should use it. There's no reason that we can't create our own communities and get little groups going. I know Nikki's got an upcoming, I don't think she's settled on the date yet. Have you, Nikki? An astrology kind of like a study group. Oh, you have?
Yeah, I have settled on a date. Thursday, June 20th, 10 a.m. Central Time. You just have to email me for a link and we're going to join on Google Meet.
Awesome.
Our first meeting, we'll probably just, see where everybody's level is at and start from there.
Yes. More conversations.
It's gonna be fun. Yes.
Okay. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm just going to talk very, very briefly about what this looks like for this month and why. And then we'll go from there and talk about consciousness and creation, because this is basically what Taurus is all about. As most of you know that are on the call right now, this figure right here, Taurus, was Gugulana. He was a servant of the supreme celestial deity An or Anu. An was the Sumerian version, Anu was the Babylonian version. They're the same deity, basically. So there's a few different things going on in here. We have the Pleiades over here, which were Mars, as we're told in the Assyrian record. And we also have Aldebaran, which is the bull's jaw, or the crown of Anu. Either way, we have strong Mercury associations in here without going into all of the detail, which, as you guys know, is a whole big conversation. Adad was a storm god, and he was called the heavenly bull He was the fertile rain, and he would obviously water and semen. They saw that as being the creative power and source through, throughout the universe. And so when the water fell to the earth, it would fertilize the land, and we would have, all of this vegetation and life and crops and just wonderful things, And so when the heavenly bull was brought down to earth by Inanna or Ishtar to wreak havoc on Gilgamesh's city, Uruk, he consumed all of that same vegetation, all of the water, all of the fertile properties. So we have this very strong drive in the constellation of Taurus to consume. And it's not just to consume food. It's not this gluttonous decadence that we see sometimes in classical astrology, where we have a Venus association and thus it being very superficial, materialistic, and we just want to shop and eat dirt or eat desserts and be lazy and kind of, just superficial and materialistic, decadent. It's much more about consuming from this higher spiritual drive, in specifically consuming the creative process, all of the things that are produced from the land and this union between the earth and the fertile waters. So it ends up being very cognitive, and these things are all going to be, and they usually are, anytime that we have our new moon here, or we have a lot of planets in Taurus, we're going to get an increase in curiosity. Sometimes this can be destructive if we are kind of already stressed out. Sometimes it can kick our brain into high gear, and we just become like, our mind becomes very overactive. Now, some of this will be a little bit more emotional with Jupiter. Jupiter's conjunction with the moon and Mercury all at the same time, very, very close to the Pleiades. It is going to bring in some of the more emotional Mars type of energy that we get in the Pleiades. So it's kind of, it might be a mess depending on what everybody has going on in their personal chart. It could be a disastrous month as far as more the internal stuff, but it's not necessarily, it's not bad. It's clearing the path for a new time, a new season, and like new things to come in. So look at any negative things that you have coming up this month or going on this month. Don't take it too hard, too personally. Just understand that this is a part of the overall creative process. Sometimes we got to go in, we got to plow the fields so we can plant something new and create. But additionally, this connection to honor the supreme celestial God brings us to the whole concept of consciousness overall. Now, I could, and you guys know, I could give entire lectures about what these different deities did, what the ancient people actually thought and believed and felt based on the knowledge that they left behind. But they were much more philosophical than modern scholars would want us to believe. They want us to be very mechanistic and cold and calculating, and that's not really what was going on. So Jupiter here is going to heighten some of our cognitive power, but it's also going to balance some of this out, and all of it's going to end up tuning us into this higher level. And with Venus and the Sun being conjunct up here too, obviously you're not going to see Venus in the sky for quite some time because they're conjunct. But this is going to, these two were celestial twins. The Sun was Utu and his sister was Venus, and they loved each other very, very much. So some of the more emotional stuff that we can get, some of the more negative emotional things that come from Venus, the wild ups and downs and mood swings, the Sun's really going to temper that. So overall, it should be a very, generally speaking, for most people, it should be a very positive month. But like I said, if your life is kind of, if you're restructuring things right now, it could be a little chaotic, but don't think it's going to last. It's not going to be like that. This is just a natural part of the whole process. So with that, since everybody, has different, we're all feeling these effects in a slightly different way. Would anyone like to volunteer or give any advice or maybe some insight into how things are already? I would imagine the new moon's already been affecting everybody, at least for the last week, maybe week and a half, of how these things have affected you, how you've been dealing with it, or want to give any insight, and then we can kind of just go from there. Nikki, I know you have something. I know you do.
Actually, I was just waiting for somebody else to begin. I didn't want to interrupt them.
They were waiting on you.
Okay. They're waiting for me. Well, this new moon, this one has been actually, quite comfortable for me. I've got a lot of changes, a lot of restructuring going on. But I've been actually seeing a lot of the kind of shadowy side, the shadowy stuff of Taurus come through. You know, lots of loss. You know, we had a death in the family, and my found out yesterday my first grade teacher died this week in a car accident. So I've noticed there's been a lot more car accidents. Yeah. But this new moon, I think, has a lot of people thinking about what they really want, what they really value. What is it that they want to work for? What is it they want to build for? You know, what kind of foundations do you want to create? I feel like it's just that kind of a time to, you know, hunker down and make a plan and figure it out. And a lot of people are throwing those things around in their minds. And you know, it's been really cool seeing a lot of people just be more true to themselves, be more true to what it is they want to follow, especially around work. You know, we've had a lot of conversations about work and what people do for a living. And you know, I recently had a job change, so I think that's been highlighted too. How are we going to, you know, make money? How are we going to, you know, survive? And you know, restructuring, rethinking those things. Hopefully by the full moon, there's some more action. I think the full moon is going to be in in Scorpio or Sagittarius.
I can look.
I can't
real
remember.
Quick.
Yeah, I can't
I still
remember.
have it
Well, I had it written down, but I don't see it here anymore. I wrote notes a couple times. But...
You guys help me. What's the date of the full moon? Anybody know offhand? I don't do dates. You guys know I have number dyslexia.
It'd
I
be
think it's
2 weeks from
around
Thursday.
yeah, like the 21st or.
Oh, I got an app here.
Yeah.
I have it written down on my calendar. But
I should know this stuff, but
It looks like Saturday, June
yeah.
22nd. Friday, Saturday.
22nd?
Yeah, 22nd, 22nd.
Okay. Stand by. I'll reshare so you guys can see. Everybody can see. Okay, so it should be where are we at here? Oh, where did my moon go? Am I in the right time? Hold on. I have like a bunch of screens up. You guys can't hopefully see them all, but I definitely have them all up. So it's kind of confusing over here. Yep. So right there in the middle of Sagittarius. Good job, Nikki.
Yeah.
Good job. While that's happening, everybody's moving over here. Venus and Mercury's they're all moving into Gemini. So it should be, I would think that probably a little bit more sensitive and more emotional, even a couple weeks in, but probably with the Sagittarius, we're taking a little bit more control over it. It's not quite as reckless and causing issues.
Yeah.
Anybody else want to piggyback on that?
Oh, sure. I have been, I feel under pressure to leave my comfort zone. How should we say?
Is this because of am I personally responsible for it?
Not in whole.
Okay, but it's in part. Okay.
But you are reflecting an inner reality which says that I need to do this as well. So it's not just me sitting on a log and you like beating on me.
Okay.
I'm
glad to hear that.
I know that you're right. And it's probably the time, but it does feel as though I'm being asked to stretch my capabilities. And it's probably about time. I can own that, no problem. But that's the happening right now. But I must say also, I feel fortunate to have this new community that you've created because it does create some level of comfort and a small society.
I concur.
That shares values. Otherwise, we'd probably all be just hiding in our little holes, reading books and
Yeah.
That's
writing crazy things in the margins.
It is for sure a group effort. Like I can't create any type of community or anything without you guys being brave and reaching out in the first place, you know, and having the I tell on any video I do, I don't really send out almost any emails. But I always tell people, you know, like jump on this call. I tell all of my clients, like we do this call and people register for it, but they don't usually come to it. It's a scary thing to get on the internet and meet a bunch of strangers and you don't know, like nobody knows. We could be totally weird and we are, but
we are.
I think most
Yeah.
people are. And I think it's nice to meet kindred spirits and just know you're not the only weird person out there.
Aw,
It's true.
that is so true. That is so true.
I posted on Instagram for the first time in I think years to let people know that I was going live today. So, you know, pushing back into the world.
Would you say, Chrissy?
I said congratulations, Friar.
Oh, thank
I
you.
know it's hard.
Yeah,
You
the
know-
world hasn't really gotten easier, has it?
Uh,
You know?
Yeah, it just makes you want to stay in your little hidey hole a little bit longer, you know.
Yeah.
Dr. Joe
At least for
Dispenza
me,
has a
I don't want
Oh, sorry. There's a delay. I apologize. I keep jumping on you, Chrissy. Dr. Joe Dispenza has a
Sorry.
really good book about getting out of your comfort zone. It's called Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. It is fantastic. All of his books are fantastic, except the one, and it's not that it's not fantastic. It's one of his earlier ones, Evolve Your Brain, I think is what it's called. And it's just really boring. But that's because it's really, really technical and really medical, and you know, like it's for me anyways. If you have a medical background, you'd probably think it's the coolest book ever, but the rest, you know, like they're great. But yeah, he talks about like how and it's something I think we all intuitive know, like success lives on the other side of fear, right? Like if you're afraid of spiders, you're probably meant to overcome that fear at some point. Or if you have a fear of public speaking, like that's your sign from the universe to step out there and, you know, take a class or go give a speech or something. And when you do something that makes you uncomfortable, like brushing your teeth with your non-dominant hand, whatever hand you don't usually brush your teeth with, how very, like, it's such a tiny little simple thing, and how much your body and your mind just totally react, and they panic on you. And it starts telling you silly things like, if you do that, like superstition, if you do this, something bad's going to happen to you. That's the whole OCD thing. That's the whole, like, you know, if you have to check, you always have to check. Or like if you have a tick, like if I don't do this movement right now, something bad's going to happen. And it happens so fast in your brain, like you're not usually conscious of it. And obviously there's other causes of it too. But when you start to push your body into making itself, your body mind into being uncomfortable, I mean, you really do start to open up doors and things just start to get easier and opportunities show up. I mean, it's crazy.
It's true. And we also have Jupiter and Taurus, right? So
Yeah, that's power. That's power.
Yeah.
we gotta take advantage of that.
Yes, we do.
Let's go.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Jupiter is encouraging us to get out of our comfort zone. He's being very nice.
Yes.
being very nice about it. Now, when Uranus is in Taurus, I'm pretty sure he's going to shake everything right up. So usually when one of those heavy hitters hits a new sign, you notice it, you see it. So I'm wondering what that's going to bring.
Wait, there's more than 7 planets? What are you talking about?
Well, not technically.
That's just wild.
Yeah.
So,
Uncle
anybody
Uranus.
else have any new moon experiences here any weird stuff, any good news, bad news, revelations over the last week or so that may be attributed to this little mini shift that we have?
I'll just throw out there, like, I mean, I'm involved in a couple businesses, and everything's been absolutely going great the last couple weeks. Sales are happening, meeting new people, networking. It's just all like clicking, like really, really, really well, except for the fact that I wish I had like 5 more hours in a day or something like that, because I just can't keep up, but I'm trying.
You can't keep up with work or like other stuff too.
No, it's just no, there's so many different things happening. And there's actually 3 businesses. Like if I wanted to actually truly go down this one here. But no, just personal life, professional life, and they're very, very, very intermixed now. Where it used to be in my old life, I would have had them separate. Now it's just all together one, thing. So trying to navigate that new space of trying to figure out how to fit so much in, because I can literally go from hanging out to being in a 2-hour meeting and then, going to do a sale or a test or, talking to this person, that person. So it's just very fluid, and which is a lot of my, my astro personally, but yeah, it's just gotten to a degree where like, it's very bountiful, plentiful, but it's just like, now what do I need to focus on to maximize the outcome? So.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sure.
right on. That is very.
I can rent you some of my free time if you'd like. My rates are quite reasonable.
We're looking for people.
Hey, you never know.
Well, we're in 3 states now, so we got a big plan in the next few years to like genuinely go after the national market, and we've got really long range plans for the international market. So it's cool.
Nice.
We're very ground floor stuff, but we've got the backing of like 45 years in business, so it's really, really cool.
Cool. My rates are quite
That's
reasonable.
awesome.
That's right.
Well,
Plug your stuff for sure.
Yeah. Well, I failed to mention this. I had I've been dealing with clients, right, in my inbox, like you do. And I thought, gosh, these clients, man, they're just not writing me back. And I was looking for something else entirely, and I checked my spam folder. And I was like, oh, look, my client replied in the spam folder 11 days ago.
Ouch.
Awesome. So
That happened to me this week too.
And I work on reputation. So I'm like, okay, great. Now I have a reputation as a bozo. This is fantastic.
Screenshot.
It happens. People are very flexible. If it becomes a habit with you, they'll probably, go in another direction. But everybody knows it's happened to everyone. Don't feel bad.
Yeah, that wasn't cool. Because I really do try to get back to people as soon as I can, and that was not. Yeah. So I blame the heavens. I blame a giant bull who came down and ate all my email.
Yeah, gotta shake your fist at the sky.
Yeah, cut it out. I'm calling Sheriff Utu on you.
Yeah.
Sick of this.
Well, Saturn is in Aquarius, and isn't he hitting the end of it? Isn't he hitting the end and
he's on his
going
way
into
out.
Pisces?
Yeah.
I just saw, but he's going to retrograde back into Aquarius, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But most of it's pretty done.
Yeah.
Oh, which is probably not great.
As of when?
Yeah. I mean, I just saw, I was watching the news and they were talking about all the space stuff being delayed and rockets not working and they're canceling all trips to the moon. And Fryer and I were talking about it. Actually, the sun is just being too wild. It's at like the peak of its Soros cycle, and that was one reason, I think. Technical issues is the other. What was the Fryer? What was the comet we were talking about that just took off on us? What was the name of that one?
Talking about Oumuamua. Remember that?
Yeah. Well, I had it pulled up and I accidentally closed it down, so I couldn't remember the name of it.
Isn't that the spaceship? That's not like a
dude. So we were talking about that, like it being a spaceship and not an actual. Yeah, I had no idea. He like enlightened me yesterday. I was like, oh my
yes. God. According to our most valuable scientists, who would never tell us anything untrue, the reason that Oumuamua accelerated away from the sun is because it was sublimating gases off of its surface. Yeah, so I guess they need to come up with a whole new way of propulsion based on water evaporation. That would be fantastic. And what a savings.
It was so funny because the article, the article that you sent me literally said that they hadn't detected any gases, nothing coming from it like the entire time. And then it just shoots off like into space.
Yeah.
Just now it's full of hydrogen, whatever they pull out of their hat.
Nature is amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, how about that piece of space debris, the Black Knight thing,
Yes.
that just magically changes direction.
That's space debris.
I know, that's what they say.
Yeah.
What did
Oh
I miss?
yeah, like this morning we were talking about aliens last night, and this morning I open up Instagram and there's the video, and this army general had come forward and said, yeah, aliens are real. Aliens are real. They've been here the entire time. Blah blah blah. And so it's just like another US like army general retired that's come out and said, yeah, they're here. They're already here. Blah blah blah. And I was like, I can't like take it anymore. The anticipation is just like killing me. Well, then where? You know? Do they have
They've been
cool
here
like
for years.
Yeah, but it's the whole hyping it up. I mean, it's just, are we gonna see like in our lifetime ships in the sky or something? I mean,
Yeah, you haven't
what's
seen any
it
yet?
all?
Apparently, people do.
I've seen weird things in the sky, but I haven't seen any UFOs.
I've seen them.
anything. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I didn't. I don't get out enough. Maybe that's it.
Yeah, that's possible. You gotta go outside.
That is true.
and look up at the sky.
When
More.
you're always at work, you're stuck there. Oh,
If you don't go outside, but yet you see UFOs, you have larger problems.
That's probably true. Kat, Rhea, have you guys had any weird stuff going on the last week or so? Not weird, but noticed any shifting?
Probably what Nikki said, because I've had a lot of job change, and I've noticed that a lot of the collective unconscious is having a realization that they don't want to work like 9 to 5. So I've been noticing that for a while. So I feel like people are starting to shift, and I don't know I've never met you before, Prana, Pat. You said you're combining you're like I don't know, I guess the thing that you want to do in life, like your higher calling with your career. I feel like that's kind of the algorithm now. A lot of people are doing that.
That's the way to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, we would all be happier if we just did the thing that we were in love with,
Yeah. I think that a lot of people this last moon cycle kind of was the segue into this one, where it's okay, and now it's time to start making those changes. It's time to start putting, building those foundations so you can have a better future, bigger ideas. It's what it's about.
Yeah, because AI is here, and AI is already starting to take over certain jobs, and where the future is here. Our money is electronic. I see Tesla trucks everywhere I go now. I've seen like 3 of them. A lot of the cars are going to be electric. Gas cars are being phased out. So this is the future.
Yeah, it's a brave new world, eh?
Yeah, I don't think I'd like an electric car. I don't know. I grew up like around guys, and they all loved muscle cars and fast cars, and I'm still
loud noises
big. Oh yeah, I'm a big like car fan, and I don't know. I'm just not into the electronic cars. I mean, I know they're fancy. They got all the buttons, and they're supposed to be better, but it still like takes energy to fuel them and power them. So how much better are they for everybody?
They're not. They're dialing.
Yeah.
They're dialing.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, they're still pulling off the grid. They get their electricity from the coal plants.
If they really wanted to sell cars, they would make them like they used to back in like the 70s, when everybody was just like racing them and having fun. It's just an idea. I'm putting it out there, in case anybody from designers from car companies are listening today. Gonna throw that out there.
I'll like totally butcher it. I told Fryer. on one of the meditation calls. Did we talk about the free energy stuff? What was it? The YouTube channel that I told you about, something Alchemist. Do you remember?
I don't remember. We talked about a lot
on
of
that
things.
call. We did. We talked about a lot of stuff, but that was one I remember.
So
but I remember the Thunderbolt project too. We talked about that same call.
So the guy, I don't remember. I'm terrible with names and numbers, you guys. That's definitely not my thing. So dates and birthdays, anything doesn't work. But very long story short, Reynold Carlson was on Joe Rogan, I think last year, and totally outed this guy who created.
Yeah.
It's not 100% like 0 point energy, but it's pretty close to it, and it uses vortices. I think they're like opposing, and at the point where they meet, and again, I'm like totally paraphrasing, butchering it beyond all recognition. We're looking at like space and time are breaking down, and so I think the guy draws heavily on oh God, I can't do it right now.
Can't make words happen. It's okay.
Yes, words. No,
I'm slow today.
But he's doing what he's open sourcing the technology, which is what everyone else didn't do, which is why they all disappeared after a few years of creating, some sort of free energy device. And you can go and you can look it up. I could probably dig it out at some point after the video's done. I'll probably, because I don't think I can multitask right now. Like my brain's kind of fried. But I can put the link in the description and stuff if anybody wants to look into it. And you should, like everybody should go. It's really not that difficult as far as like the basic mechanics of it. It's stuff like we could all probably, if we had any skills, which I definitely don't, could like make something in the garage. But they're right now trying to like retrofit it onto a bunch of different types of vehicles. And I think like Mitsubishi's got a like they're investing like millions of dollars into it. So hopefully that's coming out here soon. And then this guy won't just like totally disappear.
Yeah.
Like all the other people.
Yeah.
So hopefully we've crossed that bridge, because a lot of people already have the plans and the designs, and I think he's already got the patents out. And you know how they do it, like they'll like take the patent and say it's national security.
Yeah.
Can't have all of our
or they'll invite you to the Pentagon and you'll die when you walk out the door.
Yeah.
And after you've handed everything over,
you'll throw yourself out of a window. Yeah.
Isn't that kind of what happened? Well, like when Nikola Tesla died, he's the inventor of the electric car. When he died, they took all of his blueprints because he was trying to do the free internet thing, and they took all of his stuff because they didn't want it to happen.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. There's been a number of people who've created like anti-gravity technology, all kinds of stuff, and they just disappear.
Yeah.
Or die mysteriously.
It was like third grade weekly reader. We had a little weekly reader, and we read about the man who made the engine that runs on water, and he was going to change the world. Damn. And I remember I was like, what happened to that guy? And then I see on TV that he disappeared.
No, you talking about Stan Miller, I think it was, or Stan.
Well, he didn't really disappear. All of his work disappeared. Of course, they took all of it.
Yeah.
And,
he got poisoned.
He got whacked. Yeah.
He literally fell out
of. It was sad.
I was told that they all went to live on a farm.
Yeah.
Yep, they go live on a special farm for all of the creative people.
Yeah.
That's the sweetest way to put it.
Yeah.
You know what though? I think there's there's kind of a better argument though whenever people are making this whole claim about green energy and things of that nature and trying to be green, right? If oil companies were really that into it, or let's say we as humanity, like the leadership that are leading these giant multinational corporations, if they actually gave it to him, then the patent that were bought back in the 60s for carburetor technology that was getting 60 and 70 miles to the gallon, that were bought when NASCAR races happened, before NASCAR happened, there was, and this is in newspapers. You can go back and grab newspaper clippings. This all happened. But there's gentlemen who would develop a carburetor, develop technology to get 50, 60, 70 miles to the gallon while racing a car. And at the end of the race, when they won and destroyed everybody, an oil man would come up and buy it, put it on a shelf, and you would never see it. So if we really cared about, efficiency and all that, we'd pull out stuff that's been sitting on the shelf for 60 years. You know, not talking
Yeah.
about this EV and all, like, honestly, we didn't need any of it. We already had stuff. So it's another diversion in my opinion.
Yeah,
I
that's
agree.
true. But we keep buying the oil. We keep buying the
seen this
gasoline.
guy
They keep-
down south.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Chrissy.
What was that, Chrissy?
I seen this guy down south. He ran his stuff on vegetable oil. Like he'd go to all the
Biodiesel.
restaurants down in the town and collect the vegetable oil, and he ran his pickup truck on vegetable oil.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
We did a lot of that
Oh
in
my
Texas.
God.
Like,
Crazy.
yeah, Texas.
Ooh, does it
Crazy
smell
good,
like donuts then?
though.
Like, what does the exhaust smell
That's
like?
what I would think. It's gotta
It does,
smell weird.
actually.
Like
Yeah.
everyone's driving around and I
It
just
does.
feel so
Smell
hungry.
it.
Like, you smell that? Oh my God.
French
Smells like
fries.
fried, amazing food.
Fried chicken.
Right?
Who's making
Oh
funnel
my
cakes?
God. They do that at
Delicious.
the store. They push that those fumes out, that fried chicken smell, the donut smell. It drives me nuts. I can't have any of that stuff anymore. But yeah, if they were driving around and it smelled like donuts all the time, I think it'd put a lot of people in a better mood. Like we wouldn't have a lot of road raging going on. That's pretty, like, road rage is all of a sudden the new thing in my city. Like I've lived here for like super long time, like 25 years. And we were always like the town that didn't know it was like a city. And now that we're like the #1 place to live in the United States, like everybody's
Oh,
moved here
no.
and they're really rude, like especially
Yeah.
on the road. And they're shocked when I'm like, oh, it's okay. They're like, expecting me to like throw my fingers up. I'm like, oh, I gotta save that for like the highway or something. Not anyway.
Pat, what do you
I'm
got
gonna
going
blame
on
this guy.
this week or earlier, like as the shift is happening? Anything?
Pardon me?
I don't have anything really mind-blowing that's been going on, but I feel like I just feel like I've been really busy with external type things going on around me. But I have felt more creative inspiration lately, more creative ideas about business things and collaborations, things like that. So, yeah, I just feel like there's been a lot going on around me as far as this. We're full on in spring, almost going into summer where I'm at, and it just feels like there's a lot to do. So sometimes when that happens, I don't spend enough time on internal stuff. So I don't know. I guess we'll see what comes up this next week. But yeah, it's been just busy for me. It's been good though. Things have been good overall. It's felt like, in general, the energy has felt not too heavy.
I'd agree with that. I usually have a good time. I'm always having a good time. I think I got most of my, like my, I don't know, stress and trauma. So I think too, I just have worked so hard in the last few years to remove all stress. So when you get rid of that stuff, like you're just happy, right? Like when you don't have anymore. So that's a nice place to be. I've probably over the last week or so, I mean, I don't know. I think it feels good. I'm really seasonally sensitive. Are you guys like on board? Like my life revolves
Oh, yeah.
around seasons.
Yes. We
Yeah.
talk about that in the house
Definitely.
a lot. The
Yeah.
seasons of life, the seasons of life.
Yes. I like it when it's sunny and cool. Like that's my ideal.
Oh,
Yeah.
Well,
Today.
what is
Yeah, me
cool?
too. I like that.
Cool is like
Like
anywhere
like
between
70s?
well, I would I guess 15 degrees C, if you will. So somewhere around, in the 60 degrees range is like perfecto.
A little chilly.
That's nice.
I mean, for like summertime.
Well, the thing is, you stand in the sun and the sun will heat you up real nice.
Yes, it will.
And if you get too hot, you just go back in the shade, cool right off. Love it. I'm solar powered.
Yes, yes.
Me too. Me too, very much so. I couldn't do like the desert though.
No.
I couldn't do the dry air, but like just too much. Even living in Florida, I think that's part of the reason why everybody goes crazy eventually after they live in Florida for too long. It's like too much sun. And I think it does something to you. I don't know if it's the electromagnetic energy or like what, but it's like you need clouds. Sometimes you just need some shade and you need maybe some snow. I don't know, but I think it's a lot.
I'll add to the Florida thing because I lived there for a little while. I think at least with respect to South Florida in particular, so that lower half, really like the lower third, really, but that's sitting on top of what's it? It's coral crystal. So like it's so piezoelectric down there that it's just like it's like this. Like like Miami, this is why Miami is this way. Like I was down there for a little while and it was just like you plug into the land and it's wild.
It's why it's so paranormal too. Everything in Florida's haunted. Everything. Like you can't go somewhere that's not haunted.
It's just a giant swamp, except on the coast. You do not want to live there. It is a giant swamp on top of a coral crystal, and watch out. Watch out.
Yeah, you know, Pat, you just explained why I was sick the entire time. I went to Florida once and I was sick the entire time I was there. I was like, it must be the heat. I was just dying. I could only go out at night. I mean, it was just terrible. Now I know why. I'm like,
what time of the year were you there?
I was there. It was the beginning of February, like end of January.
You should have been fine. That's like peak.
I should have been fine. I should have been fine. I was sick.
Okay.
I was just like, I felt like I was in a microwave the entire time. I just couldn't handle it.
Yep, I get you.
And I went to the desert once too, and I was like, oh, I love this. And I was there for, officially on the ground for like 2 hours, and I was like dying. Like, I can't take this. The heat, it's like I felt like I was in a microwave too. But it was a dry
yeah.
Love Arizona. I was there last year.
We're approaching the top of the hour. Abby, did you want to look at the chat, which we have some chat participants read any of the interesting tidbits?
You're gonna make me read?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm struggling over here. Okay.
Are you okay?
No, I'm fine. I thought, okay, hold on. Where do I start?
Well, we've got some participants in chat that are not live with us. So maybe one of those folks, Aaron Kessler there.
Nassim Harman, is that who you're talking about? He also has an over Unity device. That's not the device he's been working on getting into the public for years now. I don't know if you guys were talking about him at any point. That wasn't the guy I was talking about. I did put a link in. So it's on YouTube, one of the people who studies under the guy who has the technology that I was talking about. His channel's called Alchemical Science, I believe. It's awesome. He has all of the information, and that will just take you down more and more rabbit holes. Let me see. He also said my grandfather was an Air Force jet engine mechanic. A mechanic friend of his created a device to increase the fuel efficiency of cars, brought the average consumption up to 100 miles per gallon. I don't doubt it whatsoever. Hey, Aaron, if you're still on here.
He is.
This is and I don't know. I know you're not particularly working on the on the jet engines. So I was in the Air Force, and I was air crew and stuff. So I had to learn quite a lot about how the airplane works. But we sometimes in our meditation groups and stuff, sometimes it gets on the subject of chemtrails, and we talk, because sometimes so I'm in Russia and we don't really have any here, but sometimes you do get them. And we were talking about them being something ubiquitous inside of the fuel. And I've seen patents before. It's been a really long time, like maybe 20 years ago, the last patent that I looked at talked about, like it being able to do something in the engine itself or in the fuel. I'm not 100% sure. It seems like the jets coming in and out of the like the NATO countries in particular, which we don't really get a lot of those here, seem to be a little bit worse. And it also seems like, and I don't know how true this is, but somehow elevation plays into it. Do you have any insight on that? Because I'm just curious, and if I can find more information, if anybody knows, like I'm just throwing it out there too. Yes, you said then Shell came by his house, paid him to take ownership of the device. Then they shelved it. Yep, I do remember that. SM says like French fries. Yes. Hey, quick shout. Oh, that's Fryer says shout out to the chat participants. You could have said that if you wanted to. Aaron said, have any of you worked with the energies of the 99942 Apophis near the asteroid or near Earth asteroid? Yes, it's currently also in near conjunction with the sun and Venus. I don't do anything with asteroids, probably more for time constraints. I assume that they do have an effect on us, but I personally don't. Does anybody else up there want to jump in there?
Well, I have worked with Apophis as such, but not the orbiting body, if you will. So yeah, I guess my response would be kinda as above, so below, I guess.
Hi, Stephanie. Hi, I don't know if Tyrone's with you. Hi. I'm like waiting for him to say hi back, like they're on the call, so they're not though. Oh, okay. Okay. So you guys, I just got done reading like literally a few hours before the call started. Rupert Sheldrake's Science Set Free.
Excellent.
Yes. Are you guys, show of hands, you guys familiar with Rupert Sheldrake? Yes? No? Okay, so one of his, like he has, I don't know how many, like hundreds of papers he's published. Like, I mean, he's been around a long time. That's like a seriously smart dude. And one of the very few well-respected scientists who's also open to things like psychic phenomenon and that type of thing. But one of the things he talks about a lot in this book, and it's one of his, you know, like personally, I think he came up with the hypothesis of morphic resonance. Are you guys familiar with that concept? Okay. So he also talks a lot in this book about creativity and consciousness and how it's something that's basically in a field outside of us. And I'm sure like we can all kind of get, I would imagine nobody's gonna dispute that too much here. Does anybody have any theories on like somebody I forget already who was talking about it. I think it was Rhea maybe, I don't know. Oh yeah, she was talking about like the collective unconscious seems to be shifting, like we're all kind of on board with this idea of that we really shouldn't be working 9 to 5s anymore. That's and we've probably been feeling that one for a while. I mean, it's very unnatural. There's no reason we should all be enslaved. We can't blame the Anunnaki, you guys. That's not what they were doing. Despite what people would, we can't. And I can have that conversation with you if you really need me to. But it's more, you know, this is and not to promote capitalism over any other like system, but I mean, we're trained to be, you know, little worker bees so we can go out and produce and, you know, fulfill somebody else's dreams. So does anybody have anything that they want to add to that? Any experiences maybe with the collective unconsciousness, specifically maybe even with the creative power that we all seem to tap into? One of the things he talks about with morphic resonance is basically, you know how Edison and Tesla both came out. It was Tesla, right? They had the light. The light, was it Tesla had the light bulb? Who's the two? He had the light bulb too, right? I'll be right back. But basically they would have pulled this out of the ether around the same time. Hold on, my daughter's ringing the doorbell.
Right. Yeah, they did.
So I was a musician for a really long time. I guess I technically still am. And I wrote songs, right? Now I took enough music theory that I can bang out a song like, you know, if someone said, hey, I want you to write me a song and it needs to be done in 2 hours, I could do that because I know the mechanics of it. But there's a difference having inspiration. What I would experience it as is I would hear a song in my head and it would just be in my head. And then I'd realize that song doesn't exist. So then I would have to put it down on paper and actually like figure out the chords and things. That's a much more interesting way to write songs as far as I'm concerned than just like ripping one out like a hack, which again I can do. But the inspiration piece is interesting. I do wish I had more of a handle on it. Now you can use that technique of when you're about to fall asleep, you hold a ball bearing or a wrench or a spoon in your hand, and when you start to fall asleep and it slips out of your hand and makes a loud noise on the floor, you just write down whatever comes to you. that can work. But I did like the gentle inspiration, just sort of like songs appearing in my head, and I'm like, whoa, I should write this down. So I have had experience with that sort of thing. And also when I'm in meditation, and yes, I did meditate today, I get ideas all the time, all the time, all the time.
Congratulations. Yes, I have been meditating too. I'm getting there. I've been yeah. No.
Anybody else have any experiences tapping into the collective unconscious or creative power?
I think there is something with music though. Because like music is like the most broken down to a vibration that you can get, you know what I mean? That you can almost see that, like, I don't know. I think meditation and music and the future all are going to be very important.
Kat knows a lot about vibrations.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kat.
Wait,
I think
Kat knows a lot about vibrations.
No, you, not your, not her cat. You're you.
Yeah. So in the work that I do with Biofield Tuning, in general, I would say as far as creativity and consciousness is how that is relevant is there's different things in life that kind of you could call it get stuck out in our field around us. So in the electromagnetic field or the ether. So those things out there, once they're kind of brought back to center or dealt with in some way or released, then it allows us to have more access to creativity and to what you could call the collective unconscious. I kind of see it as the collective unconscious is kind of like the ether that we're all living in. Like there's all this information that we have access to if we really tune in. So, I mean, it's really a lot of what you all have been talking about, but on a level of like the work that I do, I see it a lot with people who people will have something going on, whatever it is. They'll have a tuning. So I use tuning forks, and the tuning forks when they're out around the body, you'll use a frequency. Say you're using a 144 fork. It doesn't always sound the same, which doesn't really make sense to the logical mind, because you would think 144 hertz is always going to sound like 144 hertz. But when you're in someone's energy field and it picks up on something that's, something stagnant or stuck, it actually changes the sound of the frequency. So the idea is that all this information about our lives and all of the information in the collective, it's all out there in the field, and can be interacted with in different ways, and sound is just one of them. So yeah, well, that's kind of off the cuff what I would say about that. But I mean, in general, creativity can also be found if you're looking at like a map of the biofield. The creativity could be found in the sacral area. So around the hips, around the reproductive organs, like an outer area of that, like outside the body in that area, and on the body or in the body. And then also I would say the third eye area, which is like a connection to intuition and inspiration and all of that.
What about in the throat area?
Throat area, sure, because that has a lot to do with expression, things that are expressed or things that we actually don't express. But yeah, that has a lot to do with creativity as well. I would definitely agree with that, because we use our voices to express things. And yeah, when that throat area is imbalanced or closed off, then we're not expressing our creativity in certain ways, and that can lodge in different areas of the body and cause, you know, discomfort, disease, symptoms, things like that.
Oh, I was muted, sorry. Chrissy, I was thinking about you. So listening to, because I didn't actually sit and read the book. I listened to audiobooks, right? But I'm listening. He had a number of chapters in there that he was talking about telepathy in particular. And he's kind of using it as a catch-all term. And one of the things that he mentioned, which I don't know why it never really stood out to me. I mean, it's obvious, but I didn't realize the extent of it. So I've done psychic development with a lot of different people from, all different walks of life. Some of them groups of family members or close loved ones and stuff. But he was talking about this telepathic communication that shows up, and it shows up better between like family members or people that they're close to. And he says one of the reasons why, like some of the more, not that there's many mainstream studies, but like skeptics who are trying to study this phenomenon and see if there's anything to it, they usually use total strangers to see if they can communicate telepathically. He's like, one of the things they're overlooking is that it's obviously much stronger between loved ones. And he used this example of this mom and her son. Her son was born like deaf and blind, and he had like some different mental disabilities and stuff. So, but they found that he could guess, with sarcastic air quotations, guess a number or a color or whatever it was, if his mom was looking at it. But when they removed his mom from the equation, like he couldn't guess what it was, which means that he was actually picking it up. She was like looking at something and transferring it to him. And he supposed that maybe he was able to pull this out of the field because he had a need for it. So they kind of just developed this additional psychic ability where it's just a little bit stronger. But they were able to reduplicate this in some astronomical number, like it was out of control, to leaving no doubt that it was, more than it would have been if it was just a coincidence. But it made me think of my mom, because we used to play this game. So I used to show my horse, and it's mostly boring. You're just out sitting around waiting for your time to go into the ring, right? So we would play this game called Dancing Crayons. And we would sit and we would
the
dancing crayons. You would see, really, it just started out, we were going to pick a color. I was like, okay, I'm going to think of a color. You tell me which color it is. She'd be like green. And I'm like, it was. And then I would pick one, or she's like, it's blue. Yeah. But what was interesting was when we described how we were getting the information, we both saw this little crayon, like coming out of the darkness, like a color. And he was like dancing around. And that's how we were able to guess it. Yes. And I've used that technique with a lot of people doing psychic development, trying to teach telepathy and, just like get used to the idea of, getting these images and these feelings and stuff coming at you, because it feels like nonsense. You think you're crazy when you're actually doing it. But it was just cool to hear him. And apparently they actually do
play that game for hours.
Yeah, because it, like, you always get, well, not always, probably like 90% of the time.
2 to 3 hours and we wouldn't miss.
Yes, and we practiced.
It was crazy. Well, it was crazy.
It was definitely stronger between me and her. I practiced with my brothers before and a few of my friends, and I think with my brother it was pretty strong too. But he's naturally pretty sensitive. I don't, very empathic. But it's interesting if you guys ever get a chance out there, like test it out on your friends, or like I probably can't find some strangers that you want to do it, but who knows, do YouTube challenge or something and see if it works. But it's really good. But that's basically what's going on. Like we're just, it wouldn't be possible if there wasn't something outside of like if the mind was just a part of your physical body, like that would not be possible. They did the same thing, I guess. People.
Well, you're in Russia.
I know, and you made me buy the V-Shred Guy's program. I know, because you were thinking about it and buying it, and sure enough, I saw his ad come up, and I just like on a whim, I'm like, oh,
I remember you saying that. Oh my God, that's so funny.
Yes, somebody I need to call.
And we have the same dreams. We'll dream the same thing all the time. Like,
it's actually pretty creepy.
I'll be humming a tune, and she goes, why are you humming that? It's because I dreamt about it last night and I woke up humming this tune. And she's like, I've been thinking about that all day long. Yeah, so it's like we're definitely connected
Well,
telepathically.
some of that I think, and I don't know, I can only speculate, right? I do think there's karmic connections too. I know my daughter's tutor, I'm not related to her. I've only known her for a few years. I'll talk about her, think about her, and she'll message me. She'll be like, "Hey, how's it going?" You know, like she'll just send me a message and be like, "Oh my God, I was literally just talking." She does it all the time. It's really strange. I think you guys have met her. Her name, some of you have met her. Her name's Sonia. She's been on a few of the different meditation calls. But so like I could understand a mother-daughter connection, but some of the other ones, you know, we can only do that if we're all tapping into this conscious field somehow. It's seems really obvious. I mean, I don't know. You have to be really
Well, twins have it.
I was gonna say, I want to throw this out there since we're going down this. I'm in a house of two other gentlemen who actually they're the ones commenting in YouTube, by the way, right now.
Oh,
Hi.
nice.
Yeah, hey guys.
Aaron and Zach over there. They might be on the
Thank
phone doing business while they're listening to this. They might be conducting business calls. I'm not. But I gotta say, I've been with these gentlemen for 5 months now, solid. And I knew them in the past. I'm not gonna get into all that, but the point I want to get towards, there's three of us here, and the likeness and the similarities in terms of energies, there's very distinct differences between the three of us. Yet at the same time, there's the definite underlying, cohesiveness and general energy, mindset, consciousness. And we talk about all of this stuff all day in the midst of business and conducting business. And this is what I mean about how it's really hard to keep it, where are we at right now? Because there's so much happening on so many levels. And, I got to be here. We got to make money, So, but the point I just wanted to get towards is when you talk about creating, when you have three, it starts to speed up in a way that is absolutely wild because I'm used to it. Like in my reality stream, living my life up till I came into this even, synchronicity, I call it synchronicity. I just found out I renamed it, but I'm used to it. Like I'm totally used to it. It's the way that my life happens, but it's gotten to a level now being around these guys that is just insane. I'll just throw two out there that happened in the last few days. Me and Zach are having a conversation about how impossible life is right now, how impossible it is where we're sitting in like everything, how we came together, everything, just how impossible it all is. And all of a sudden a call comes in and it's a kid who wants a job. And the irony of the situation is he's like, oh, you want to be an apprentice. We run a plumbing company. One of our companies is a plumbing company. And he's like, you want to be an apprentice? And he's like, yeah, I'm about to start college soon. I need to get a job. He's like, that's really funny. I tell you what, as long as you don't screw up the interview, you probably got a job. I'm going to give you a phone number. Call this man. And ultimately, it turns out the day prior to that man came to Zach. He's a service manager at the company. He's like, I need an apprentice, man. I've been looking and looking and looking, and I can't find an apprentice anywhere. And he's like, oh, okay, I got you. We'll get an apprentice. And then here's Zach and I talk about it literally not even 12 hours later, and we got an apprentice. He literally called in the middle of me and Zach's conversation. And then a funny thing happened to me over the weekend. I went to Phoenix for some business and for 2 days, and it was different business. And I was there with two different gentlemen, but there's three of us. These two guys are like really more of the Christian dynamic, but we were, lamenting about how our return flight was a connecting flight. We weren't going to get home till 10 o'clock. Like, man, this sucks. And we sat there and talked about this for about 10 minutes, how we wanted to take a direct flight tomorrow because it was literally a Sunday trip in the morning. We're coming back Monday. So 2 hours before we're supposed to leave, actually like 3 hours before we're scheduled to fly, I get a text that I randomly look at in the middle of a business conference, and it's like, hey, you just got rebooked on a direct flight. You got to leave in 2 hours. And I was like, what? And I tell the guys, I'm like, guys, check your text. Did you get rebooked? And so we got all rebooked, and we wound up taking a direct flight, and we got home a little after 4 o'clock. It was, or 6 o'clock. It was awesome. So, and it was just literally like, we're creating it. Like, what do you want? What do you want from the field? You know, it's where I feel like I'm at in the space I'm with. You know, it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing.
So you guys are like a bro version of Charmed, right? Isn't that what?
I love that. Yes.
It's a brotherhood. It's definitely a
I
brotherhood.
love that.
Like
Yeah.
I'll just throw this out there and I won't go into it, but we captured a Black Widow. Like we're doing, you know, yeah. We're having a lot of fun.
That reminds me of something similar and not the same, but similar. There was this lady who she would have meetings like you know, there's lots of motivational speakers and whatever, and she would do something similar. She would have these motivational speaker thingios, but she didn't do motivational speaking. What she would do is she would ask people in the audience if they needed something. She would say, just tell me if you need something. And someone would be like, well, my nephew needs a car. He just graduated from college or whatever. And someone in the audience would say, well, I'm trying to sell a car. And so this would happen all night. Like, what do you need? Oh, well, I need, you know, a guitar amplifier or whatever. And someone would say, I got one. And so it was like this convocation of people whose needs were being met just in that group, which I think is kind of interesting. And maybe not particularly spooky, but I thought it was cool.
No, that is cool.
Maybe we should try that.
Like right now?
Like right now.
Okay.
Tyrone needs healing
what?
on his shoulder.
Who
Tyrone.
Yes.
Oh yes, Tyrone. It's his bicep. Well, his shoulder too, but his bicep for sure.
If only we knew a distance healer here in the chat named Kat, who I screwed up their chart.
Oh.
You didn't screw it up too bad.
Please don't murder me. Oh my God.
You just said she was a criminal with lots of babies, I think.
And anger. Lots of anger.
And a narcissist.
Yeah, narcissistic. There's difference.
I don't think
Wasn't it a great read?
I thought it was good. I thought it was good.
Yeah, my rates are very reasonable. Yeah.
It was really good.
There were some nuggets of truth in it. I thought it was good and entertaining at the same time.
I aim to please.
Which shoulder is he having?
Tyrone, I think it's his right bicep, but I'm not. Yes, it's his right arm because it's totally out of commission now.
He wrecked it.
He ruptured it.
Bad.
Doing what was he doing? Like
he saved somebody's life.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
I think
he told us the whole story. Oh.
Yeah, I think he like pushed a little kid out of the way, like he was falling off the monkey bars or something, and he helped him, or I don't know.
Wow.
He's an awesome person all the way around.
He sure is.
It was a self-sacrifice.
It was.
For sure.
Well,
so, yeah.
I'm just trying to think. So there's correspondences, with the whole biofield anatomy as far as different emotions and different things that are found in different areas of the body. And so even if it's an injury that you have, like you could just be more prone to injury in a certain area depending on what's going on with you. So I know a lot about the left shoulder. I'm just double checking real quick on the right shoulder. I mean, it's in the area of the heart in a way, so it's going to have some relation to the heart. And the right side is going to be, let's see. Having to do with potentially with overgiving, saying yes when you mean no. It's considered the more yang side of the body, the more masculine side. And so it's like a action oriented. So it's like a maybe self over others type of thing. But anyhow, regardless of what specifics are at hand, we could all send him some healing thoughts and healing energy in this group. I think that would be nice.
For sure. Anybody else have something? Yeah, Tyrone, though, if you're listening, I know I tell you every time that I talk to you, but you need to read Becoming Supernatural by Dr. Joe Dispenza, and I hope that you are reading it or listening to it. Okay, I said my piece. What were you going to say, Chrissy?
Clarity. I need mental clarity.
So hold on. In this group, Friar, was it like tangible stuff? Or was it like was it like all you know, things floating in the ether?
I do believe that it was like, you know, stuff and things, earth plane bits. However, I see no reason why it has to be that.
Okay.
You know? I mean, I need clients, right?
Yeah,
I need my thing.
I would
clients.
agree with that.
Clients.
Okay.
I need money.
Clients are good. Okay. Money clients. Okay.
Money.
I mean, I can tell you exactly what to do to build a successful business if that's what you want, but outside of that, I don't know. You know, I can send you some Bitcoin.
Yeah, I know what to do. I don't have the feeling for them. I mean, I want the money, but I can't get into that meditative spot where you're actually feeling that it's already here.
Why not?
Like I can on a lot of different things when I meditate, like what it's kind of like the I'm having a problem with the vision board. You know, it's like I know what I want, I know what I deserve, I know every I'm loved, I'm, you know, all that stuff. It's just that when it comes to feeling it, I haven't got to that point yet. And I try to do that when I'm meditating. I try to get into that sweet spot of actually feeling it and feeling it every day. But I haven't been able to do that yet. So I just keep trying.
That sounds like I try. Work. I started making a lot more money when I stopped trying to make money and manifesting. I realized that I'm not one of those people who can consciously manifest things. I don't know exactly why. I think because I'm naturally a control freak and I feel I'm like trying too hard to do everything. Oh, and I also am very impatient. That's a big one that I've been working on. I'm so much better than I ever was before. But when I so in my meditations, I usually try, and you guys, most of you who have been on the meditation calls, you probably know, like one of the things that I do is I have to constantly surrender. And I usually surrender to Kyungmach, which in Sumerian means supreme love, which is just a fancy word that, you know, I use for God or whatever. I don't usually say like Shiva or Shakti, namely because they're very masculine or feminine when I hear those names, whereas Kyungmach is very generic. It's just, you know, the unified field and it's not polarized in male or female or anything. And in those meditations, when I was doing that, I recognized that I didn't actually have to create anything. I didn't have to manifest anything. And some of that I think too was like looking back on my life and seeing how all of the stuff I wanted in life, like my life looks totally different than I planned it out at various times in life. And it's so much better than anything that I could have ever come up with. I never, ever in a million years would have thought I'd have moved to Russia. I had no affinity for Russia. Like, I didn't care. I didn't think about that stuff. Like everything. So at a certain point, I just started giving it to God. And I did the same thing with, because, you know, I'm, if you guys don't know watching this, like one of the things that I've helped people do is like build their businesses and make quite a lot of money and be very successful at doing things that they actually want to do and are passionate about. And so when I would do those same things, I mean, to the same extent, like, you know, the actual steps, right? I'm not talking about like the energetic or the emotional stuff, but the steps to build a business, networking, you know, like marketing, whatever. It didn't work as much for me because again, I think it's a manifestation thing, an energy thing, or a control thing. But when I just decided that, like, wait a second, I didn't create any of the, like, consciously, I didn't consciously create any of the stuff around me. Unless, of course, it's all like a hologram, you know, and I'm creating it from a projective, you know, some projection inside. But regardless, when I just let God create the money for me and the clients or the products that I wanted to sell, or like what my life looked like, what my business looked like, when I just let God do that, it just all happened. And it's not until I get in my own way and I'm like, oh, I have to do this. I got to, you know, I got to get these videos out. I got to make sure that, you know, I'm touching my email list every so often, or whatever the stupid rules are that you hear when you're hustling and grinding and doing all of your stuff. When I just quit doing that, I'm like, no way, I don't have to do any of that. Like, literally, God can just do that, right? Like, I don't have to do any of it. So I don't know if that helps you, Chrissy. But I would consider that one, and maybe quit trying so hard, or like quit trying to meditate on it or manifest it, or, you know, like just, I don't think it has to be done with that. I mean, there are people who absolutely can, and you might even, I know in some cases you are one of them because I've seen you manifest stuff and it's actually kind of creepy. But I mean, you know, like it's an option. You can try it that way too. Anybody else have any thoughts on that?
Well, I know that you successfully used the Neville technique recently to feel better.
That's right. But part of the reason I think that one was so good was because it played on my programming, the way my brain works.
Okay.
I instantly, so if you guys don't know, what's the technique again? The Neville Goddard technique, the one, is it got a name for it?
I don't know if there's a name for it.
Waterfall.
No, not the waterfall one. I like that one too. It's the one where, so I felt myself getting sick. I got like a sore throat, and I'm like, and everybody else in the house was sick, and I'm like, yeah, I don't want any of that, right? So I would ask myself, like, how did you get better so fast? Or like, how did you heal your body so quickly? And it does something in my brain. It's like, oh my God, I'm already in the future. Like it's already done, you know? So that one worked really good for me. It might not work for everybody, but it definitely did for me. So Chrissy, maybe try that one out. How'd you get this money? Like, where'd this money come from? I don't even know.
It may be considered living in the end, because that's something Neville talked about.
Yeah.
Yeah, I used that technique actually, and I totally hyped myself up. I was like psyched out. I was like, yeah, I got this. I got this. You know, it was awesome.
I think some of the idea an idea that can be helpful that goes along with that is that when you're wanting to manifest things in life, that you don't have to be the builder necessarily. You can be the designer, and you don't have to know how all the things are going to fall into place. Like you don't have to know where the money's going to come from. And if you have ideas about where it's going to come from, then you're limiting the possibilities for that field or the universe to have the creativity to give you money in a way that you might not have thought of. So it sounds like for you, Abby, that was helpful to let go of that control, because you were trying to control how things were going to come to you. And when you let go of that, then the potential possibilities just opened up.
Yes. And even when I told myself I wasn't trying to figure it out, I'm still always trying to figure it out and be ready. Well, if I could just help the universe along, maybe I should be prepared for it, right? Maybe I should try a little bit harder. Or so yeah, it definitely, I sabotaged myself. That was a perfect way. And I'm glad you phrased it like that, because that made sense, and it was actually pretty obvious. I don't know, I didn't think of it that way.
Yeah, that's the bridge of incidences that Neville talks about, that you're not in charge of. You just worry about the thing you want and let the greater powers that be cross those bridges of incidents for you.
Yeah, so give it to God.
Yeah, it's like fancy karma yoga.
I like that actually.
Yeah, I'm the same way. When I manifest, I have to just like let it go. I have to think about it, and I have to just let it go. And you know, if it happens, it happens. I kind of have to have that attitude, because I'm a very, very much a recovering control freak.
Yeah.
I'm learning, like even through my meditations, we talked about it, how, you know, I feel like I have to have a productive meditation. I have to come out of it with something, you know, So I've been learning. It's a process, you know, trying to apply the letting go to a lot of different things, seeing what comes back, and
It's
getting creative.
ceremonial magic has something similar, which is like when the ritual's done, you're supposed to just do something that has zero to do with magic, just to kind of take like make a sandwich is the classic reply. Like, what do I do now? Go make a sandwich. Because it, you know, just to release the whole thing to the universe or the one or however you're gonna think about all that. Your own wonderful human imagination, Neville might say.
Yeah, I have a problem staying grounded. You know, I'm always like out there. So I've been working on meditating, and it's been helping. It's been helping quite a bit. So, but I know with Mars and Pisces, that I don't want to blame the planets or anything, but I feel like it's been I don't know, making me not very consistent, not stay on task. I just can't seem to get things done. I'm jumping from one thing to the next. But yeah,
You and
I'm
me
working on it.
both.
Can I ask what's wrong with that from a philosophical standpoint? Like, what's wrong? Why do we have to
Well,
complete our
you know, there's
projects and be
nothing wrong
productive?
with it. I really like this time of thinking about things and getting creative, writing stuff down, and just kind of exploring the options. I feel like there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. I know once I don't know, I kind of feel like once Mars starts hitting like Aries, Taurus, all that stuff will pick up traction, and all the ideas and all the creative energies that we've been putting out there will just manifest into better stuff.
Anybody else need anything pulled out of the ether?
Come on, Rhea, what you got?
Oh, I also need money and clients, so I just that one.
How about a good place to live?
Oh yeah, my 2-box apartment definitely needs a 2.0 upgrade.
What kind of clients do you like? Because we all have our people, right? Like our fun clients. So who are like your best clients?
But I feel like that's another manifestation of hustle culture, to have clients, and so then I try and ask myself, what would I really do if money weren't a concern? And
that's a
then
good
I
one
would
too.
do nothing, and I would, yeah, because I feel like meditation and hustle culture are kind of diametrically opposed, and us trying to get something out of meditation is sort of that hustle culture, like is subconscious. I want to just be happy as I am.
Well,
that's cool.
what makes you the most happy?
Like that.
Like anything, or just being still, or like what?
Not having to have to get money, because I feel like most of my urges come from having to pay for rent, and I wouldn't probably have clients if I did. I mean, I would love to see people and be a support to them, but I wouldn't necessarily have clients as such as a business. Like, because people just come to me all the time and I do the thing for them. And now I'm like, well, now I have to charge them money because I have to pay the rent. And it kind of all goes back to that. And to get out of that, I think, let me just be here and now and happy.
Okay. Well, plus, because you're an artist, so I would imagine you don't necessarily have to like have clients. You don't have to have that business model if you didn't want to.
I'm not, I don't know. It's for me, it's like that internal struggle back and forth. It's like a Ketu or Rahu struggle.
Gotcha.
Because the more spiritual you are, the less you're supposed to care about like physical things like money and stuff like that. But you still need to pay the rent, the water, buy food.
Yes, that is true.
Yes.
But, you know, it can just come to you. And if you're doing the thing that you love, it will just come to you. I've seen it happen with my clients many, many times. And it happened to me when I finally quit trying so hard and I just let go. But I also had, and I think we've talked about this before, obviously not on this call, but I had to get to a place where I wasn't willing to do something that I wasn't in love with anymore. Like, so if you guys don't know, anybody watching this, I did psychic work for a really long time. That's why I don't have that many videos on my channel right now, is because I took them all down because they were more oriented toward, you know, psychic work. And I just wanted to do astrology, but it's like I couldn't find the market for it. People, and at the time, so like 10 years back, there was like nobody doing, I mean, yes, there were some sidereal astrologers, but you really had to work to explain what it was. Whereas now, like it's 50-50 people that come to you, like they had, a lot of them already have a concept of what it is. So it's far less convincing somebody. It also bums a lot of people out if they buy a reading from you and they get on the call and you're like, okay, I'm about to tell you stuff. You have no idea like what's going on. Like, I'm going to show you really where the planets are in the sky. And they're like, what? Like, that's a hard, you know, that's a moment for them. Their world just got shattered, right? You know?
Oh my God. Yeah. I gave my grandma a reading and I couldn't wait to show her everything. And I got done and she looks at me and we spent like a good hour talking and she looks at me and she goes, but I'm a Gemini. And I was like, okay, all right. Yeah. Yeah.
Right. Yes.
All right. She's all there. So it obviously something went by, but
Yeah.
it was like, okay, you know, she is like in her 80s, so she's used to being a Gemini. So
And
I'll forgive her
sometimes
for that.
you just gotta let it go, you know.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so it was, I was fighting that, and I don't know, maybe it wasn't true. Maybe it was just this construct that I told myself because I was afraid to do this thing. But literally, you guys, I promise you, within, I mean, it took it was a series of breakdowns of me like fighting with myself, and like every time I'd be like, I'm not doing any more psychic readings. I'm not doing it. I'd get a wave of people emailing me from like years, you know, clients I've had for like, like 15 years. And I'm like, I know what this is. I know exactly what's going on. You guys are testing me. You're trying to get me to like commit to it. And so what I would do is I would take some, but you know, the rest I would kind of let go. Cause some, you know, some clients I've like for real known forever. So then, it was a process of like continuously letting go and being like, no, I don't want any of this stress in my life. Because if you guys don't know, anybody watching the video, like psychic readings suck the life right out of you. They're very, very draining. If you can use tarot instead, to like take some of the energetic pressure off of you, I definitely would. But still, I mean, it's very draining. So, but literally guys, within hours, I legit was like, no, I'm done. I'm not doing it anymore. I think I had one of those clients. I'm sure if you guys have done any psychic work, you know, the ones that argue with you, every single word that comes out of your mouth, they're like, no, there's no way that would happen. That would not, oh, it could never be that way. Like, that's not even possible. You don't know what you're talking about. But like, they keep coming back to you like every couple of days, telling like to fight with you, you know? So like, if my predictions aren't coming true, why do you keep, you know, calling me? So, and I just was like, no, that's it. That's done. I'm done. I'm not doing it anymore. Literally within hours, I started having opportunities fall into my lap to do more astrology readings, something that I'd been trying to do for years and I just couldn't do it. And it wasn't until I really committed to the thing that I was most in love with and most passionate about that like everything started to fall into place. And after that, it's been like a series of miracles that just, you know, continues to happen and makes things better. Now, that process of transition was hellish, you know, like, I mean, it at some point destroyed my marriage. It's better now, you guys, I got it worked out, but, I did get divorced. Like I'm still technically divorced, but I love my husband, you know, I think we've been through some of this, but, but, yeah, so I mean, it's chaos in that process. But for real, as soon as you draw your line in the sand, and it's so like, Rhea, you don't want clients. If you don't want them, don't get them. If you just want the money to come to you, then commit to that and let it happen and just don't worry about it, you know? I feel like I was ranting and dominating the conversation in that.
No, I feel like you got to trust though. You have to trust that whatever is meant to come to you is going to come to you. I've had to start over. I was a hairstylist. I had to rebuild my books a couple of times, and each time it only took about 6 months because I just trusted that whoever was sent to me was meant to be. And that's a lot of it, is just trust. And sometimes we don't put our trust into that. that sort of thing. Like, oh, but does spirit really know? Does the universe really know what I want? Yeah. It knows what you need anyway. What you want and what you need are going to be different. They're not going to match up. So, but you got to just trust it.
What about your higher calling though? Because sometimes the higher calling isn't what you really want to do, but it's what you were put here to do.
Oh my God. Yeah. So struggling with that. Yeah. So I wanted to travel and do like celebrity hair. I wanted to go to, red carpet events, and I was going to be like famous and famous hairstylist, and universe was like, no, that's stupid. And you're not going to do that. And I was like, yeah, I am. Watch. And I worked myself to death, and I ended up having to close my business, and I spent probably a year and a half just on the couch, sick, not able to work. So yeah, the universe like has a way of restructurizing and picking you up and, moving you around and showing you like, hey, I have a better way, and you're either going to listen or you're not. So now I'm listening because I don't want to work myself to death anymore. And the dreams changed. I was like, I don't even like that industry. It's superficial and dumb, and I'd probably hate it, traveling and meeting cool people all the time. That just sucks, But I have to just trust that, there's a better way to do things. There's a better way, and I don't know it. I don't know half the stuff I think I know. Every year I get older, I'm like, I'm so glad I'm getting older and I'm getting wiser, because I would not want to be everyone that like clings to their youth, like, oh, I wish I could be not me. Every year I get older, I'm like, oh my God, I know so much more. And then once I think I know enough, I find out I know nothing. And I'm starting all over again. I'm like, oh man, this is a journey. It's crazy. Yeah. But yeah, letting go and just trusting. And I mean, I think that has a lot to do with manifesting what we want, especially, money. When it comes to money, I got a lot of people asking me like, where's the money in my chart? I was like, I don't know yet. I'm not quite there. Yeah. So, yeah, but it's Taurus season. I mean, of course that's going to be highlighted, Taurus is, we want to be comfortable, right?
Or eat everything on earth, one of the two.
Oh my God. Yeah. My Venus is in Taurus, and I love food. I just absolutely love food.
Where's it at in Taurus?
It's like the first degrees. It's like the first
right
degree. Right there. Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, I love food. Oh my God. So that sort of is a true thing about Taurus, maybe.
Great bull of heaven, getting all hungry.
Oh my God, I know. I was like, I would love that. Just like sit in a field and eat all day. Everybody leaves you alone. Oh, that's life. I would love that. But then you don't learn anything,
No.
You can't stay comfortable all the time. So.
Yeah, too much is probably not good.
Yeah.
No.
But it sure feels nice.
It does.
Yeah, but there's that. I mean, we were talking about dharma effectively, right? Like doing the thing you're supposed to do. Something that non, psychotic salespeople say that's true is it's a lot easier to sell something if you believe in it. And
hey, wait, did you say psychotic sales people say that, or non-psychotic?
Non-psychotic.
Okay. I'm glad you clarified. Continue.
Yeah. And so it is with your dharma. Like if you do think that you're equipped to help people in a certain way, then do that thing, unless it's something that you, for whatever reason, hate or just doesn't line up with you. I mean, the services that I intend to offer, I do believe in all of them. I'm not doing, with the possible exception of the other thing I'm doing, that I will not mention on this live stream. That I'm trying
now everyone's imaginations that are going wild.
I know.
It's very tame. If anybody's wondering, it's exceptionally tame.
It's very vanilla.
Yes.
If you will.
Scott?
No. Best escorts East Coast. Tiring, so tiring. The services I really want to offer, I do believe in them. I mean, I think that the way my life shaped up, and you know, even up to and including the defenses that I had to form growing up against terrible things that happened in my life, you know, not particularly nice forces, psychological damage, all that stuff, right? It still gave me skills. Whether it was through good ways or bad ways, I still have the skills. And I still do want to help people. And I do enjoy, in fact, these other services that I want to provide. So I think that's pretty good. I think that's a good pocket to be in.
I agree.
And that, you know, and
Yeah.
that can help motivate me when I got Sergeant Quinn yelling at me, you know,
I didn't
at
know.
5 o'clock in the morning.
I sure did not. I wasn't. Oh, I probably was up at 5 o'clock your time.
I shouldn't call you Sergeant. You probably were an officer and I'm insulting you, but
I was not. I was not.
okay.
Which I'm okay with. No offense to any other military people out there, but officers are like some of the dumbest people out there. Like, I don't understand why. Like, it's just amazing to me. It really cemented my, like, made me feel good about my decision not to go to college and like get a degree. I mean, I went for like a few semesters. I'm like, this is really dumb. Like, this is all stuff I could just learn on my own, right? Like, if I could teach
Right.
myself Japanese and Sumerian and like all this, like I can learn all this stuff. But yeah, like just kind of clueless, just like some of the dumbest people. But I was in the Air Force, so who knows? It could be different in some of the other branches, but yeah.
But yeah, I do appreciate your motivations and you sharing your knowledge with me in particular. But yeah, it does help a whole lot that I'm being pushed towards something that I do actually want to do.
Yes.
That makes a difference. If you were like, nope, you got to go do that horrible job that you hate, you know, if you're like, you got to do tech support, I'm like, oh God, please, not again. Never again.
No.
Never again. Sorry, Apple. Never again.
You know, I think we have creative drives and our interests. I think that comes from consciousness, that comes from our intuition. Like, there's a reason we feel drawn to do those things. And it gets talked, some cases beaten out of people, but for the most part, like programmed out of you. Like, you got to give up on it's not even giving up on your dreams, because some people's dreams are very artificial. Like, or superficial. Like, they don't actually want what they think they want, you know? Like
Yeah.
Nikki said, she probably doesn't want to hang out with famous people. Right?
Not at
But
all.
and
No.
like travel, yeah. Like,
And have fun and party and like,
Yeah.
no, I don't like. Who the hell would want that, right?
I would not want that.
But the
At all.
universe has a better. Actually, when I was sick, I read this book by, I think it was Stephen Arroyo. I think that's how you say it. It was one of those old books. It was just about using astrology as just a type of counseling, and how he envisioned, you know, astrology being maybe called like clinical astrology, you know, stuff like that. And it made me think, and I was like, wow, all of us use this. You know, when I found like sidereal, when I used true sky astrology, everything came together. Everything completely clicked. And, you know, of course you feel like you got to tell the world and everybody, guess what? You get over that. But so my goal is to really create something, you know, more of an astrology practice that helps people, first and foremost, you know, where's the healing, where's the medicine in astrology? And that's what I would like to bring.
Yep. Awkward silence. Oh, Nikki's talking to someone.
Sorry. Yeah, no, I'm being rudely interrupted right now.
I know. I recognize like the mom, like, okay, my mouth is moving, but you guys can't hear me, and my arm's waving. Like,
Vinny
this
bought
is
that for his girlfriend.
definitely
Sorry.
No
So
worries.
sorry. Yeah, it's it's
no worries. No
yeah.
worries.
No, one of the ancient
I forgot what I was
physicians-
talking about.
Yeah, I forget which ancient Finnish physician it was, but they said that, you know, if you don't understand astrology, you can't be a doctor at all. So I
It was
do
a-
think
It was a part of, for sure, medieval medicine, but I mean, it went, even the Greeks were already experimenting with it.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah, I
even
mean,
like
Well, alchemy is
So did
psychology,
the Chinese.
technology all in one.
The Chinese did what now?
The Chinese used astrology.
Probably. I'm definitely not.
oh
Close.
yeah, they
Yeah,
have their
no.
own, yeah, they have their own thing going. I've never studied it
the
at all.
Farmer's
It's-
Almanac is based on astrology. And if you just read it casually, you wouldn't catch it. But if you like look at the details, it's like, oh yeah, this is all up in there.
It is very much based on astrology, and I think they're using tropical.
Well, we could scrape the tropical right off of that thing if we want to.
yeah, yeah.
I don't know. I could be wrong, but last I looked, it was definitely tropical.
Yeah, you're probably right.
But
I
I mean,
there.
understand.
the intention is there, like to definitely use
The
like the
bits.
archetypal energies, and it's there. We're coming up on close to 2 hours. I mean, we kind of got started late. Does anybody have anything like they want to add or ask?
I
or
wanted to
throw
talk
out there?
about that comet.
Yeah, let's do it.
And this is probably gonna either save this for next time or we'll get into it. Can you pull up? I can show you how to find it, Abby.
Okay, stand by. I don't know. I can. Hold on one second.
Or I
I'm
guess
multitasking. What's it called? Is it have a number or a name?
Atlas 2023.
Did I spell it right? You did.
Let me pull it up on
Hold
my.
on. There's a lot of different atlases. Is it all one number? No, it's not.
Okay, here it is. So it's C//2023
Okay.
A3.
You say, okay, so 2023 what?
A3. And then behind it's going to be like it's kind of a Russian word. It's like Tsuchinshan-Altas -Atlas.
Hold on, stand by.
Okay, I'll put it in the chat.
You said A3?
Yep. It's C/.
A3.
3. Tsuchinshan?
Yeah.
Not
Dash at.
Russian.
I know. I'm just making
Okay.
that joke.
It's probably like Mandarin or something.
That's a
I'm
worse joke.
guessing. Okay. Hold on, let me share my screen. Stand by. Okay. So here's the orbit. Where is the actual object? Oh, there it is. Hold on, stand by. Why won't you zoom in for me? Does it have it out here? Yeah, it's there. Zoom.
So.
Okay, so it's a fuzzy ball right now, but here's the orbit. Okay, so right now it's in
Way out there.
Yeah, it's in the eagle.
Out
Yes.
Right. So if you move this to late September.
Why not center it for me? Come on, guy. Or girl, I guess. I really
Well, you're
would like you to center. Oh, there it
2025.
goes. Okay, centered. Okay, so September. Oh, this is 2025 right now.
You're in
I have it.
2025.
So
Yeah, because I was looking at Saturn. I was backtracking.
I
Okay.
got you.
So October.
Go to September
into
1st, though.
September.
No, that's November, isn't it? Or
Yeah.
okay.
Yes, it is. Okay.
All right.
All right. September. Where are we at?
Alright.
Oh, now. Okay. So it's getting ready to.
Go to the morning. Go to like maybe like 8 a.m., even 6, 7 a.m.
Okay.
Watch the eastern sky here. Zoom in a little bit on. Okay, come back
Oh,
out.
yeah.
Yeah, okay, watch as this thing happens.
Do you want
Come
me to?
back out. Well, if you come back out, you'll see a bunch of alignments start to take place as it comes. You'll see that loop as it's about to loop. Everything comes up in there and it'll hit the top of it. If you hit it day by day now, or you can even do it that way. That's gonna take a while.
Yeah, it will take a long time.
Let's do one day at a time, but let's keep facing the eastern Well, I don't know.
Oh,
Ears.
yeah. Okay.
Right here. Yep. Right here. Zoom in a little bit too.
Yep.
All this starts to come together and this thing pops above it and then literally goes around the other side and it's like the way this is set up, it's looking at it as it goes away.
Yeah. Yes. That's interesting. That's
We've
I
been
wonder how
studying.
far away it is. It probably would tell me if I pulled up the right information on my screen.
Yeah, on the left hand, it's got the all that info.
Yeah,
Yeah.
do we want to dig through all of this right now, or is this short information? It's probably not. No. I'll have to look at it. It'll be easier.
Yeah, no, look into this thing because we've been
Yeah,
looking
for
at
sure.
it for about almost 2 weeks.
Yeah, that's a interesting financial placement. I hope we're not looking
Oh,
at
that's
something here.
crazy.
Like financial collapse or something. Like that
Oh,
definitely wouldn't be good.
No.
I mean,
Oh,
I don't
no.
know that.
No.
My background is
Maybe
fine.
that's
Yeah.
why I'm so concerned about money right
Yeah, I
Maybe.
don't, what reason do you have to think that we might be on the brink of financial collapse? Come on.
I mean, yeah, but like I wouldn't just blame the comet on its own if there were not other like things going on for sure.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Stellarium's so much fun though, you guys. I hope you
Stupid
all
comet.
have it and you're all using it because it's
I do have the
fun.
Stellarium. I use Starwalk though on my iPad.
Wow, that is really far out there. You said it's like every 80,000 years or something it comes
Yeah,
by.
it's like 82,060, I believe was the math.
That's crazy.
So yeah. And it's really cool in Stellarium. I've gone back down to 10,012. I think the furthest back it goes is 12,000 BC or 14.
It gets weird after that. Yeah, it goes farther back, but the ecliptic's
Maybe it's
off
20,
and
I
yeah.
think it's 26. We went back two processional cycles.
Yeah.
Like cycle. And yeah, it was really wild when you start looking at the way the stars change and those deeper periods. Oh my God.
Yep.
Playing Stellarium, people. It's fun.
Yeah, for sure. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess like people have other things going on, so they can't just do that all the time, but it's definitely.
But it ties in though. I think actually the back end message, especially at the end of this here now, is the alien stuff and everything. They're at the end of the day, like everyone's being asked in very many ways to like look up more or be more mindful of what is above you. And if you play in this in your digital world, it'll start opening up and making a lot of connections. You know what I mean? Because as soon as I'm looking at it, it's just like Nikki said, like, especially if you're open to it, there's an intuitive, like, oh my God, like everything just starts making sense. You read a few stories and then it's like, oh, wow. Oh, okay. And then you see, and you look in Stellarium over deep periods, you see those same stories repeating, the stars kind of changing, especially when you get into the modern versus old. Like, it's just really, really interesting. The stories are all above us, and we're playing them out down here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Literally playing them out.
Which I think goes to that consciousness, the field of consciousness. So the morphic resonance hypothesis does account for, it would explain why we would either embed these archetypes into the constellations or why they would be able to have any effect on us at all. And if they do that, it would affect, like, the same process should take place on other planets, you know, that have intelligent life or whatever. So, I mean, it definitely influences us. I'm sorry, Nikki, what were you going to say?
I forgot what I was going to say.
I do that all the time too.
Yeah.
Within seconds. But it's gone.
It's gone.
Yes.
Yeah.
You didn't need it.
Wait till you get my age. It's real fun.
I reject your premise. Okay, so listen. But,
I know you do.
I do. I 100%
I know
you
do.
But here, this I was thinking about this too when I was reading his book. So like they try to account for why like the genetic technology has kind of failed. It's kind of bombed. They thought by now like we'd already have the entire human genome sequence and stuff, and they can't account for why these different proteins. They say that it's genetic, but it's not really, right? I mean, it's a part of it. It's definitely a part of it. But like, it made me think, like, you know, animals like sharks, and I think even some reptiles like crocodiles, alligators, turtles, like they don't necessarily die. Like they don't die of old age. I mean, something's got to usually happen to them before they die. Maybe we just, and and I'm saying this because not too long ago, I heard somebody say something that really struck me. She was a dancer, and she said something like to the effect of, I didn't stop dancing because I got old. I got old because I stopped dancing. And that was like a light bulb moment for me, because I see these other people, and I've watched my entire life, people be like, oh, when you get into your late 30s, you start getting old. When you're in your 40s, you get old, and like all your body starts breaking down and like all this other stuff. I just don't buy that. I think some of it is programming. I think if you keep hearing over and over again, like, oh yeah, you're like 50 now, you're gonna start forgetting stuff. Like I hear that stuff and I reject it, because I really do think that we like it's a program, and you're gonna, if you really believe that stuff, you're gonna make sure that it happens. So no offense, Chrissy, you know I love you. But
I know you do, and I love you too.
But I just don't buy it. That's what I'm saying. Is like when I hear people say that, like that's okay. You know, like I choose to, and I could be
You
wrong.
have to take into consideration diet, exercise, booze, dope,
right?
hallucinogens. I mean, you know, I have burned a lot of brain cells, so I cannot remember shit like I used to. So I'm not, I do believe you, and a normal person that didn't do all them things, you know, but I'm
well, that I will accept.
hardy, you know,
yes, I do.
How I did.
Yes, I do. So that makes more sense to me. I just couldn't blame it on an age thing. I had this one client, and by the way, I love my clients, you guys. Like now I do, for sure. Like I love some of my psychic reading clients too. But like it's so much fun to meet people. Like I think I've read for a bunch of you guys too. So like at some point, you know, a client's just like a new friend you haven't met yet, right? But now we have. She was in her late 70s. I didn't know at first. Like I'm reading her psychically at the time. And I do chakra readings and stuff. And, you know, you can read somebody's energy field and all this other stuff. And I'm like, man, she's like, you know, you're doing great. Why are you asking me all these health questions? Like you look and feel amazing. You know, she sounded like me. She's like, yeah, I'm 78. My doctor keeps wanting me to come in for a physical and I'm not doing it. I'm like, oh my God, that's like out of control. Because she sounded, you know, young and vibrant, and you would have never guessed, you know, like. And I think she's like, I do yoga every day. I meditate. I do I bike. I do all this stuff. So I really think some of it comes down to like it's not just mental or energetic, but I think it's a combination of things. So I don't think we're limited. I think that we, you know, I think we're capable.
Well, it's like that one lady on carnivore diet who's in her 80s?
Yeah, I thought she was like in her 40s or
Canada.
something. Yeah, I forget her name. She's like never eaten carbs, you guys. She's like ran some sort of cattle farm since she was a child, and well, I mean, she wasn't running it when she was a child, but you'd have never guessed. I mean, she's like literally in her 80s. She looks like she's my age. It's unbelievable. So
Ketone Queen.
That was amazing interview.
Yeah, there's extraordinary.
Amazing.
Anybody else have anything they want to add or throw out there?
Well,
nope.
I am so grateful to have all you people out there that I can listen to and talk to and know you're there. But I got to get going. So I'm going to say my goodbyes.
Okay.
Thanks.
Well, it was good seeing you.
Say hi to Dean.
See you later.
Now I have to figure out how to turn the damn off.
I can't help you because I don't know what it looks like over there on your end. Listen, you guys.
I know. Just give me a minute. I'll figure it out.
Okay. For everybody else out there, it's up to you. If you had fun and you want to jump back on around the full moon, maybe that Wednesday around the same full moon, I'll be here. If you guys want to, just let me know. And we can make that happen. If not, same time next month, right before the new moon, I would imagine, right around there is probably a good time we can reattack. But I'm so grateful you guys all made it and stuff. Thank you so much. And thanks for everybody watching and being patient. with my technology skills. I didn't know they sucked that bad, but I got it figured out.
You did good. And
Yeah,
thanks
you
to
did
all the
good.
people in chat who
Yeah,
participated.
for real. For real. All right. Well,
So it's
I'll
good.
see